back to Double Barrel Podcast. As always, my name is Chris.
I'm Justin.
And we have got a second...
Oh, are we being lean in serious?
Yeah, we're being all lean in serious here. We got a second hand cannon treat for the folks out there because we promised them on the last one, didn't we?
We did promise everybody on the last hand cannon that if we were able to get a hold of this one, we would compare the two.
And we did.
We did.
Let's give a huge shout out to my dad. This is my dad's revolver, and he was kind enough to let Justin and I not only do the review, but do the initial review and maiden voyage of this revolver. And I gotta say, it performed actually surprisingly well.
Okay, I have a lot of mixed thoughts on this gun.
I got some too,
and some very serious thoughts on this one. Now, one thing I want to point out that your dad did to this is he added this red dot, and part of my issue is the red dot itself, but I've also never really liked red dots on handguns, and so I think that's part of my issue here, and I'm going to try and avoid talking...
See through it,
and review it without taking into account this, because it does come with standard iron sights, and I think if I was using the iron sights, I would have done better with it.
All right, well, Justin, let's get into safety.
So safety, of course, is 1, treat every firearm as if it is loaded. 2, never put your finger on the trigger until you are ready to fire. Keep your barrel pointed in a safe direction at all times.
Surprise pop quiz. What direction do we always keep the barrel?
It is downrange, down at the ground, or up in the air.
Okay, I like the first two. I don't really care for the up in the air one, but I agree with the first two.
I don't... Okay, up in the air, I don't particularly like, because unless you are shooting it perfectly straight up, the bullet does maintain a ballistic trajectory and can still cause harm.
Correct, yeah.
However,
when we're hunting, where's always our barrel pointed at?
In 90% of the applications, pointing up is a far safer direction than out.
So you want to know how you did on your pop quiz? You got 100%. You got an A. Good job.
And then know your target and what's beyond. And then, of course, number 5, never mix your guns and your alcohol. A little bit of Dennis Nedry there. Anyway, folks, this is the Taurus Raging Hunter.
In a 44 mag, 8.38 barrel.
And it is supposed to be the competition for the Smith & Wesson 44 Magnum. Now,
this is the successor to the Raging Bull series that Taurus is known for.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I like the Taurus, but I have some issues. But let's get into that with our categories. Chris, remind everybody what they are.
Let's see here. We've got reliability, versatility, shootability, and then, of course, we got cost.
Now,
reliability. Oh, hold on. Real quick, I apologize. For all of you that are new joining us here on the show, here's how this goes. We have the 4 categories we just named off, and then we give them a score from 0 to 5. And then we tally up the score at the end, and that's how the gun does.
That's true. And one of these days, we will go through and we will put up a full ranking system on how the guns have done and how some of the alcohols have done, to kind of give everything a true rating. Now, this one, reliability. For reliability, we like to take into account, does it shoot every time you pull the trigger, but also does it hit what you're aiming at? Because if you can't hit the broadside of a barn with it, it's not a reliable gun.
I thought I did pretty well with it, realistically, for reliability.
I'm just pointing out the two major things that we look at with reliability on the guns. Now, as far as functionality, it functioned very, very smooth.
A lot smoother than I thought it was going to.
Oh, way smoother than I thought it was going to. It had no hang-ups. It had one hang-up.
Which one?
as we were trying to eject the rounds, this
It was definitely stiff. I will
was
say.
very, very stiff. I would have expected it to be a little more well oiled out of the factory.
Yeah, there almost was no oil on this gun at all from the factory. I was blown away by that.
Like, but just especially on this moving part, the ejector here, I would have expected some lubricant of some kind.
Absolutely.
But no, it was very stiff and hard to push to actually eject the rounds. And that's the only real negative reliability thing as far as functionality that I found.
And we had the target, we had the 8-inch gong out at about, what, 30 yards or something like that?
It was
today?
about 26.
Something like that.
About 26 yards.
It performed very well. I mean, this one, though, on reliability, here's the thing. I'm going to give it a 5 because the main reason I'm giving it a 5 is because this piece right here, that's something that is an easy fix. I can't fault the weapon for that because the factory kind of did a half oil job on it.
No, I agree.
However, it shot everything we put down. It cycled everything flawlessly. Timing was good.
And you did surprisingly well with it. I, on the other hand, could not hit the broadside of a barn with it.
I contribute that more to that.
I contribute that more to the red dot and the fact that I'm not overly fond with the red dots on the pistols. I have to try and look past that on this one because I'm not fond of it.
Okay.
I've never really been great with it. I prefer the iron sights, which this does come with. We've just, your dad wanted to try the red dot sight on it, so we put that on there. And you did really well with it. I think you hit about 66% of your shots with it today.
I even gave you a mulligan, folks. I gave him a mulligan to win the day. It was the last bullet in the box. I gave you the mulligan.
We did a challenge between the two out in the field, and that's a separate video that will be posted.
At a later date.
Well, it's just a separate video that will be posted. But this one, I couldn't hit anything with it. Of all the shots that I took out of this gun today, I think I hit one.
No, you hit 2.
Oh, I
you
did.
Get at least 2.
I did get 2.
Now,
But we each shot about 13 rounds out of this gun, and you hit.
I think we actually did more than that.
Well, we used one box of ammo between the two guns.
Okay, maybe it was only that. I can't remember now.
I think we each shot about 13 out of this one.
Okay.
And it could be more. I don't know. I didn't count.
Me neither. I was just having fun.
And I say it's same, but of yours, I think you hit 10.
Something like that. I don't know. I mean, I didn't miss very much with it.
You didn't miss very much with it, so you could hit the broadside of a barn with it. I couldn't. So for me, it's gonna get a 4.8.
Okay.
And only because I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with it in this configuration, and I even though yes, it is the factory's fault, I feel like that could have been done better.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And so for me, I'm gonna dock it not much, just a little bit, because I feel like it could have been done in a better way.
Let's get into shootability.
Now we go to versatility next.
Versatility. All right. The rounds that this particular model comes in are 500 Smith & W, 460 Smith & W, 454 Casull, which is what the original Raging Bull was designed for, 44 mag, and 357 mag.
Now, all of those rounds are big rounds.
Big Magnum revolver caliber.
Those are basically hunting rounds.
Yes.
For a pistol. I do like all of those rounds, and this gun, it is a very robust gun. It's a very durable gun, and so as far as versatility, it is only going to get a 3.5.
Okay.
Because it doesn't come in anything smaller.
And it's not really a good, and it's a survival gun. It's a good self-defense gun for survival.
It's an out-in-the-woods camp gun, survival gun.
A carry gun, there's no way. You're not using this for home defense.
Nope, you can't carry it. You can't use it for home defense.
I agree with 3.5 with you. I would give it a 3.5.
Yeah, it's just it's got very limited purposes, and that's why I give it the 3.5 because, I can't. This in no way. I mean, It is as long as my entire forearm.
It's big and bulky, and look at the barrel on that thing. I think it's chunky.
It's a chunky barrel. There's no way this is an everyday carry gun.
No.
There's no way ever that it could be considered concealed.
The problem I have with this gun too, though, is because of the sheer size. If you wanted this to be your sidearm for like hunting, you can't have it down here as your side saddle gun. You have to be cross draw on this gun.
Oh yeah, this
has
has
to be full cross draw.
This has to be cross draw, or it has to be mounted to the side of your quad.
Yeah.
And
this. And that's where it gets knocked a little bit for me. One cool thing, though, that I do want to show the folks, though, is take a look at this. So, Taurus, and this is one of the features.
That's actually, we should have talked about that in reliability.
So, and I agree with you on that. And I apologize, I missed this. This comes in reliability, but this gun has a dual locking cylinder. And the whole reason that Taurus did this is when they designed and developed this for the 454 Casull. One of the biggest issues that they had is they were blowing the cylinder out because of the amount of blowback from the powder when the round was ejected. When the bullet left the barrel. Sorry, not when the round was ejected. It's a revolver. It doesn't eject a round.
I mean, it ejects a round. But it doesn't eject brass.
No, you're right. So what happens here is it's your standard, kind of like on the Smith & Wesson, you got to push forward here. And then what you got to do is you got to pull down on this forward tab, and then it pops out. The reason that I really like that is because it definitely ensures the cylinder stays where it needs to stay.
Oh, it's going to ensure the cylinder stays where it belongs the entire time.
Correct.
And so this one, let's dive into shootability. As far as the shootability of this gun, I have one major complaint.
And I know what it is. Tell the folks out there, Justin.
That handle. That thing is fat.
And you have big hands. You've got bigger hands than
I got long fingers, but even me grabbing that, I can't get my hand all the way around it, and I feel like I'm holding my water bottle here.
It's a chunky grip. That is a chunky monkey.
I feel like I'm holding this instead of holding the gun, and so I don't feel like I have as good of a grip on it as I should.
Well, and the grip can be everything as far as how well you can actually shoot the weapon.
Oh yeah,
we talked about that before. And what's interesting to me though is I had you do this test where I had you hold this gun for several minutes and just get it in your hand and literally walk around with it. And then what I did is you were wondering why I was having you do this. I said, okay, hand that back to me. I handed you the Smith and you went, oh.
And okay, I want to continue on my thoughts on the grip though.
Go ahead.
So yes, it feels like I can't get a good grip on it because it's so just chunky, but at the same time, it is very sticky.
Oh, you're not slipping off that.
You're not slipping off that thing. So, but it's hard to feel confident in that when you feel like you can't get a good grip on it. But I do like it is very textured. It's the rubberized grip, and it does grip your hand really well. But I just, if this were just a hair thinner, I think I'd like it more. That was my biggest complaint as far as shootability. Now, the recoil control on that, I feel like the porting on the barrel did a really, really good job on the recoil control. It does have more recoil than your Smith, but not by much.
Very impressed with the recoil management of it.
I said, but not by much.
And the other thing that was really interesting to me is, take this off, the gun is actually extremely balanced too. I was actually very impressed with the sheer balance of the weapon.
Oh yeah, without the red dot, it is supremely balanced.
Because without the red dot, it almost feels as balanced as the Smith. I was afraid that this thing, all of its weight, was going to be like right here. I really was anticipating the weight of that gun to kind of wants to drag the barrel downward. It wants to force you downward, and I didn't feel that. The red dot, obviously, it added that additional weight where it made me feel like I was dipping the barrel down.
You're dipping the barrel down a little bit with the red dot added, but not too much. But the balance of the gun is really, really good. But the recoil was great. The other thing I don't like,
I know where you're going with this,
is the double action pull.
Double action is stiff.
It's so heavy.
That actually took.
Like
I don't feel like I can get an accurate shot off at 25 yards without double pull.
No, I don't either, because it feels, it's just so heavy. I feel like that was like a 15-pound pull.
Here's my thoughts on that, actually, and I'm glad you brought that up, Justin. I really wanted to pay attention to the trigger on this gun, because that's what I was really wanted to compare it to with the Smith. The single action was almost as clean and crisp as the Smith's. It was close.
Very, very close. Like, as I think back across my shots, and just the little amount of effort I needed on the single action, I really don't think there was a hair's difference between the two.
I felt the hair's difference, but that's because the trigger on the Smith is tuned so well. You think about it. You literally take the fat of your index, you tap that thing in single action, that thing goes off. This one actually had more of a break, like your traditional revolver break, where you actually had to go click. The Smith is just like click.
See, and for me, the way that it felt was in single action mode, I felt like I was putting same amount of pressure on the two. Both had clean breaks. Both were very crisp, very, very responsive triggers. But the double action side, the Smith, I feel like I can actually hit something with it.
Oh, absolutely. See, that's where I was going with all of this, is that on the Smith & Wesson, it's actually like a decent pull through. Like, you actually physically can pull through the action like you're supposed to and still maintain good accuracy. This, it's kind of like you gotta flex a little bit just to get it to come.
I feel you had to flex and get it almost to the break point, and then you could pull through.
But at that point, your arm's doing this.
It was not the way I would have expected it for a performance model.
I'm giving it a 3.5 on shootability.
On shootability, I'm only going to give it a 3.
That's fair. The reason why I'm also going to give it a 3.5, because this weapon actually you could make the argument for someone who wanted to learn how to shoot a big bore revolver. It wouldn't be a bad one to teach them on.
It wouldn't be a bad one to teach them on. I would prefer to teach them on the Smith, but you're not wrong. This one is, as far as the way that it handles the recoil and just the way that it shoots smoothly on the single action side, I feel like would be fine. The one thing that I don't like about it for teaching a new shooter is if you want to show a new shooter, or the new shooter wants to try a double action pull, I don't think they could do it. I would
get this one in like you would need a 357 or something like that at that point.
Well, I don't even know that the 357 would be any better, but I would definitely advise the shooter, no, don't do that. That's not good. And the other thing is the grip.
The grip is very fat. That's why it lost points for me as well.
With the fat grip, I feel like, just especially when I'm trying to teach somebody the proper grip,
no, this is
it gets in the way.
I can do this with it. I can actually, and I don't have as big of hands as you, but I can grip.
Well, you see, the proper grip, you should have, your thumb here, and then your other thumb should come right behind it.
That gun, I can actually do this with it.
But
I'm not saying that's the proper way, but I can actually do this.
But, you shouldn't have your thumbs crossed, is what I'm saying. So, but I have a hard time doing that because of how big it is.
I had to change my grip on this gun, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just not right.
Next question before we get into cost. Would you hunt a deer I'm going to go with a deer. Would you hunt a whitetail or a mule deer with this?
No.
Would you hunt a whitetail or a mule deer with that one?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know. Simple question.
If I were able to get it within 100 yards, I would absolutely take the shot with the Smith & Wesson.
And we took some shots at 100 yards with this. We didn't do bad. I don't feel like we did bad.
I think that was one of the ones that you missed. But for me, I couldn't hit anything at 25.
I know.
And I really want to blame it all on the sight, but until and unless I try it with the iron sight,
differently. That's the story, and you're sticking to it.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It was the sight. I'm trying not to blame the gun for it, and I'm going to stay there until I can't anymore.
All right, let's get into the first or second thing that everybody thinks about when they buy a firearm.
When they buy anything, let's be honest, folks. We're all thinking about it, especially with inflation the way it's going.
Amen. Cost. I'm going to go first on this one here, Justin. Cost. I about fell out of my chair when I looked up what the MSRP on this weapon is.
My jaw dropped.
You had a Bugs Bunny moment there for sure.
I really did. You told me, and I was just like, huh? It's what?
$1,049 is what Taurus is asking for at MSRP on this weapon. I have seen it anywhere from $890 to $1,000 on retail. Here's all I'm going to say about this, folks, is I paid, Smith & Wesson goes for MSRP $1,600 on that. You can pick it up anywhere between $1,300 and $1,400. So we're in the same, we're almost price-wise,
Okay.
the same ballpark.
We're both. I'm gonna say we're in the same ballpark. Ish.
And I mean ish. Yes.
Because I feel like between the Raging Hunter and the Smith & Wesson Performance Center, the Smith & Wesson, they spent a lot more time on. At least this is the feeling I get. Mm-hmm. They spent a lot more time on, a lot more attention to the little details on that one than they did on this one, which explains the difference in price. But comparing the two...
But here's the other thing, though. I'm going to throw the third one in this mix. I'm going to throw a curveball at you. Guess who else makes a hunting model like this? Ruger. Ruger makes the Super Red Hawk in both. So they make the Super Red Hawk and the Super Black Hawk. Now I've owned the Super Black Hawk model, which is a single 6, not the double. I have shot a Ruger Super Red Hawk that has the double single, like this one, that competes with these two. And guess how much you can buy that one for?
$1,200.
That one is anywhere between $1,000 retail to $1,150.
So they're all within the same price range.
Mm-hmm.
I have not shot the Super Red Hawk. I've never even held one.
It's been a while.
And so I cannot let that affect my judgment on this.
We're looking at this guy.
For this one, knowing what I know,
$900.
it is not outrageous for $900.
No, I agree.
Beyond $900, you have breached the territory where it should not be purchased for that amount.
I think it's priced right where it needs to be on the retail market. Now, the MSRP at $1,050, I think Taurus is nuts.
I think Taurus is nuts as well on that. I think this one should MSRP at $950.
I agree with that. No more than $1,000.
And it should be sold anywhere between $700 and $900.
I would disagree with you on that. I'm going to say $800 to $900 because at the end of the day, Taurus did actually put some work into this. We can tell.
I know
and
they put work into this.
It's a flagship model.
I'm not saying they didn't put work into this, but I said the same thing about the Smith & Wesson. I think it's a little overpriced too, but they put in a little bit more effort as far as some of the detailing and the weight reduction and the comfort and the amount of extra detail paid on the Smith & Wesson makes me say, you know what, I'd rather spend the extra money on the Smith & Wesson than the Taurus.
So you want to know what I'm going to give it? This might surprise you, actually.
4.9.
It's getting a 5 on cost. And here's why, is because it is, when you look at the grand scheme and the grand design of everything, it is priced right where it needs to be.
I disagree. I think this one should have been, at least, here's the thing, I think they should have spent more time on the detail and on some of the, just on the things that Smith & Wesson did and added more price to it with more features on it, and then I think it would have been fine.
What are you giving it then?
So I'm not going to knock it too much. Mm-hmm. If you are in the market for a 44 Magnum handgun, and you are not looking for precision hunter, perfect grip, this is not a bad choice. It is not a bad choice.
No, it's not.
So I am still going to give it a 4.5.
Well, so here's what's interesting. So the typical Smith & Wesson, like the Dirty Harry, the 686, I think is the model that it is. That entry-level revolver from Smith costs as much as this does. The old school 6-inch, big wood grip, blued. That's how much those costs are, $800 to $900.
Okay.
That's why I'm doing a comparison here, but I'm also doing it how I feel where the gun should be actually.
I feel like that original one should be 6 to 8.
They used to be.
I feel like they should still be about 6 to 8. This one should be going for 7 to 9, and the Smith & Wesson should be going for the 1,000 to 12.
And they're about $100 to $200 more than that. Anyway, I don't know. Where did we land on scores?
You ended up giving this a 17 overall.
Which was a lot better than I thought it was going to do, because Taurus, in fact, what's interesting, folks, is I actually...
He knocks Taurus a lot.
I advised my dad not to buy it. Because Taurus is known for, especially in their revolvers, they're known for timing issues in the cylinders, and they're known for ejection problems in the cylinders.
And I've heard those same things, but, I mean, I gave it a 16.3.
It got good scores for what it is.
It got a passing score. It's over 75%.
I'd say it's a B plus in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's about. I gave it about a C. As far as its overall, if we jump into letter grades here, but this one, it's not a bad It's not a bad hand cannon. I would purchase it over a standard hand cannon, because the way that they did the porting and the muzzle brake, the single action trigger, the rubberized grip, and of course the iconic. I don't even know what to call this. Like, it is a octagonal barrel, but it's really small tops, 2 triangles that go down, 2 flat sides, then back and reverse. So it is it's an octagon, but it's a weird one.
The dual locking cylinder, obviously.
I mean, the dual locking cylinder, that is my favorite feature about this gun.
It's a cool feature. I know it sounds stupid to some people, but it's a cool feature. I like it.
And I actually said to Chris when we took this out, I wish Smith & Wesson had done something like this.
See, but the only reason why I feel like...
But it's an additional safety feature, and I really, really like it.
I do too. However, though, Smith & Wesson has done something with their locking cylinders. I don't know what voodoo magic they've used on that stuff, but they can do it with 500 S&W.
Oh yeah,
and that's why it's like, and Taurus had to actually add a dual locking cylinder to compete with that single stage lock that Smith was able to perfect. And so I don't blame Smith for not going to a dual locking system.
Here's the thing. I am not saying
this thing does not want to stay up on this thing.
It's very. This stand was meant for like 45s and 9s, not for cannons.
Yep.
But I'm not saying Smith did a bad job on their lock.
No.
They did. They did a phenomenal job.
Taurus they did something really cool.
They did something really cool.
And it worked.
And innovative that worked. And you hate when people do innovative things.
Actually, I love it when people do innovative things. It's just the VTR has left a really bad taste in my mouth, and you know that.
But I like to give you crap for it. But this, even with Smith's really nice locking mechanism, I still would like to see.
It's cool.
That additional feature on there, because to me that's just an additional way of keeping you safe. It's a redundancy thing, and I like the redundancy things. Okay?
I'm going to give my final thoughts on this guy. It's a solid gun, solid piece. I feel like it's priced where it needs to be. I do disagree a little bit. I feel like it does need to be a little bit priced a little lower than where it's at. However, though, overall, I am very, very surprised in a good way, and I'm glad I'm surprised in a good way because I do like this gun. I would advise it.
You were very, very skeptical this morning about this one and how it was going to perform.
I was skeptical about it the whole time he's had it.
But see, I went into it going, I just want to see how it performs, and I kept my mind pretty open. It is not bad.
No.
It is not as good as the Smith, but it is better than a standard.
Oh, absolutely.
So I would absolutely recommend this one if you're looking for a 44 Magnum, but you don't want to spend an excessive amount of money, but you don't want something that you're not going to be happy with, and you're just going to feel like you're breaking your wrist every time you shoot it.
I agree.
So
real quick, closing thoughts. I gotta go grab something here because, folks, guess what? We're doing something really, really cool. If you follow us on TikTok, we're going to be doing our very first giveaway once we reach 2,000 followers. I want to show you guys before we get behind the bar.
I think we should show them at the bar.
You want to show them at the bar?
Because at the bar we can actually stand up and hold it, and it'll be cool.
Stick around.
We're going to show you what we're giving away in just a minute. So stick around, don't go away, and you'll see something really cool in a few minutes.
All right.
We'll see you in a few minutes, folks.
Bye.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the second half of the Double Barrel Podcast. My name is Justin.
I'm Chris.
And we have something for you.
We have something for him.
We have something for him.
Well,
we are going to be giving away some very special things when we hit 2,000 followers on TikTok.
correct. And we are sitting at 1560 right now. So we got a little bit to go, but I believe we can do it. So here's how this works. My wife and I's good friend, Patrick, who owns Fantasy Realms, he's an airbrush artist, and he's a local artist here in Utah. He now lives out of state and travels around the U.S. and does art shows.
And he does some amazing, amazing work. I love these.
I think this is actually the wrong one.
Yep, this looks like the wrong one.
This is my wife's.
You got the wrong package.
I got the wrong package. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back with the right package.
All right, folks. Anyway, so Chris's good friend who does these paintings has decided he wants to help us out. And he does phenomenal work. They're beautiful paintings. And we are giving some away. We're going to give one away at 2,000 followers. And then, what is it, every 500 followers after that, or every 1,000 after that?
We're thinking every 500. We might shrink down to every 250. But what's going to happen is out of the set is it's going to
Tell you what, once we'll see how long it takes us to get to 2,000.
Yeah,
once we hit 2,000, we will make our decision as to the actual number.
The first one, whoever wins the first drawing, gets to pick out of the set. So I'm going to hand them off to you, Justin, and you hold them up. So
now,
this is the...
let's explain this first.
Okay.
We are downstairs in your basement in what we call the Tombstone Tavern.
Tombstone Tavern.
This is called the Tombstone Tavern because you and I, and this was decided it was Tombstone Tavern long before Chris and I had this discussion, but you and I both absolutely love the movie Tombstone.
Yep.
It is actually one of the only Western movies I enjoy.
And we're not talking the original one with Kevin Costner. We're talking the one with
Val Kilmer, I forget his name.
Sam Elliott, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. He was the one I was thinking of.
Yep.
I couldn't remember.
So
But we have these prints.
Why Justin does this and shows you guys, I'm going to explain to you how this works. You have to go on TikTok, or you have to do the comment, you have to do the process in this video, in this episode. So it's like, subscribe, or follow, and then in the comment you have to drop your favorite alcohol and mixed drink. And what's going to happen is when we reach 2,000, we're going to do the drawing as a randomizer, and the winner gets to pick out of one of these 5 pieces of artwork.
Now, on that episode that we do the drawing, we announce the winner when we get to the 2,000 and do the drawing. That's a beautiful one of Sam Elliott.
I really like that. This is still my favorite, though. His Doc Holliday is just... It's just absolutely unbelievably amazing. I love this one.
I do love this one too, but it makes me sad we're getting all of these away. Because I would love one.
Well, why didn't you say something? I bet Patrick I could have easily gotten you some, bud.
Because it's one of those that I'm not going to ask Patrick for a freebie. I want to actually pay Patrick for his work.
Oh, I agree.
And Patrick is doing us a huge favor by sponsoring our first set of giveaways and giving these. Now, this set that I just went through.
We have another full set.
There's a second full set. That second full set.
We reach 5,000 followers on TikTok, because that's what it's going to end up being if we do it in 500 increments. Basically, the next interval that we decide on,
the final interval,
whoever wins that gets the whole set.
Now, this is something we haven't discussed, and it's something that we need to decide, I think, right now. If you have previously won, I don't think...
No, I agree with that. Once you won, you won.
You won.
But here's the thing, though. I think all bets are off, though, for the final set. To get the whole set.
That's what I was thinking.
Grand prize.
Yeah.
Everybody can re-enter that one. I agree with that. I'm going to set these over.
For the grand prize, it is... If you win you can still win the grand prize after you've won once. But if you win one, you can't win a second print.
And we're not going double dipping here. But
no.
We'll still give everybody that option to do the grand finale. All right. So, huge shout out to Patrick of Fantasy Realms. Thank you.
That's going to be an amazing thing to give away. Now, when we do the giveaways, when we announce the winner, we're going to announce it by doing your favorite drink that your alcohol and your favorite drink that you sent to us.
I like it.
And then
it's going to be a live. We're doing a live TikTok.
It is going to be a live TikTok.
And we'll post it on YouTube and all the other streaming platforms.
But I want to see how many people can guess who it is based off of the drink that we do. I want to see how many people are paying attention.
I like that. That's a good one. I like that.
Because we are a community. We want everybody to be involved with each other. So
let's do this. Let's get into it, though.
5 o'clock. Let's dive into happy hour.
May I go pick my own first?
Yeah, because I know what you're going to do, and it's one that I'm sideways skeptical about, because it's a specialty one and specialty ones kind of treat me weird.
It's a holy grail.
Yeah, and there are specialty ones and holy grails, and I don't know about them yet. And it's not that I don't know about the liquor, it's that I don't know that I'm ready to enjoy it the way it should be enjoyed.
So here's the thing. I have my 5 holy grails of bourbon out there. Number 1 is Woodford Reserve Masters Collection, Knob Creek 15-year, Knob Creek 18-year, Doc Holiday 10-year, believe it or not. And then the 5th and final one is the Elijah Craig 18-year. Those are my 5 holy grails.
Those are the ones that you really, really like.
No, I've never tried them.
Or no, that you really would like to try.
I really want to find them. And here's the thing. We have one of them here today.
You got one.
I got one. I scored one.
He called me when he got this one, and he giggled like a schoolgirl.
You're dang right I was, mister. So while you don't pick yours, I'm going to tell the folks about my pick. So I give you none other than the Woodford Reserve Masters Collection. This is a triple finished Sonoma Limited Series 19. Now, what I have to point out about this one that's so amazingly bad is I go to the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado quite often. I'm not supposed to because my wife gets very, very angry.
You get in trouble.
She gets very angry when she looks at the bank account every time I go.
You get in trouble.
I do get in trouble. However, though, the master distiller up there, his name is Shannon. Shannon is an awesome guy, and I want to give a huge shout out because he sold me this bottle out of his private collection in the back room, in the tasting room. He literally, him and I got talking, he's like, well, Chris, these are some awesome picks. We really got deep into conversation. We tasted some bourbons and whiskeys, and if you have a chance, guys, you need to go to the vault at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, because phenomenal historical site, but the the staff, the friendliness, the people there. It was just, I never had a bad time there, and I love that vodka down there, and that whiskey tasting is amazing.
I would love to go.
I'll drag you out there with me.
I have not had the opportunity to get out to Colorado to go to the Stanley Hotel with you, but it is definitely something that I have on my list of must-do things.
Well, and here's what's cool, though, about this particular bourbon. The only condition that Shannon told me he had was selling me this bottle. Now, here's the thing. He sold it to me at MSRP, not second market price.
Do you mean wholesale?
No, MSRP. No, second market is when everybody jacks up the price.
Oh, you're...
Yeah. He sold this to me at MSRP. This was the one stipulation, though. He said, you have to review it on your podcast. And I said, I can't crack it, though, until I review it with my best friend.
See, I looked at him and been like, that's not hard. You got a deal.
That's exactly what I said. Yes, sir. Thank you.
There's no issue here. That'll be done amazing quickly.
I was wondering when you were going to get to that one.
Because you just brought it home.
I did.
This is one that is very interesting.
It's pretty good.
It is the Blood, Sweat, and Tears Pacific Northwest Vodka, done by Wolf Spirit Distillery in Eugene, Oregon. Now, they say hard work comes easy on here. They've got...
It's a beautiful bottle.
It's a beautifully blacked out bottle.
I love the etching.
And the etching is such... You're not going to see it great on the camera, but great detail on here. But it says on the back here, made the hard way.
Made the hard way. What's the hard way, sir?
Well, they distill slowly, and they freeze filter it to make it extra smooth, and they only use the local grains, local Cascade waters. It's all local stuff up there. But this is one that you told me about, and I was like, I've never heard of it, but it sounds like it could go either way.
I agree with you. So we got some
interesting stuff going on here today.
I just want to point out, look at that bottle. That is just a beautiful. That is just a very classy, beautiful ornament.
One thing,
beautiful bottle.
I have my issues with bourbons, as you've all seen, but one thing that I have never been able to fault any of the bourbon or whiskey makers on is the way they do their bottles.
It's very pretty.
They are done beautifully.
Look at how thick that glass is on the bottom.
It's huge.
That is a chunk of glass.
It's like an inch thick glass on the bottom here, but then it comes into this squared, rounded bottle with
a beautiful neck.
Beautiful neck. Like, that is one thing that I will never fault a bourbon or a whiskey on, is they make it look beautiful.
So this is kind of cool. Oh, we have tasting notes. Why don't you read the tasting notes to the good folks?
Here's my problem with the tasting notes.
You want to read the tasting notes after?
Let's
do it.
I want to see what I get and then compare it to what they think I should get. Because, I mean, for me, it tells me how well my palate's becoming adjusted to the bourbons and whether or not I'm picking up on the things that I should be picking up on.
Do you want to know what the proof is on this?
190.
190, dude. Do you have any contemplation?
This is Everclear bourbon.
90.4. It's only a 90 proof.
Okay, that's not too bad.
It's a triple cast. It's a triple finish. It's a Sonoma.
Well, that's only like 10 more than my vodkas, so I'm not too concerned about that one.
You ready?
Usually these special ones are like 130, 125, 160.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. Good.
Oh, I love that sound.
Oh, invigorating.
Ooh.
A lot of fruit, like deep red fruit notes on that. Almost like a port wine. Like very.
I barely get any oak on this.
No, that is very.
Like, for a bourbon, that smells so fruity. Oh my word! This is gonna be.
He's excited.
This is one of the first specialty ones that I've been excited about, and we've got these nice Glencairn glasses that are new. Yeah, I have trouble speaking. He laughs at me all the time.
Today you're definitely struggling a little.
A little bit, and I haven't even had anything to drink yet.
Oh, you had that shot of tequila.
It was a half shot of tequila, and that should not be. But you and I, me and tequila have.
You and tequila.
We have a special relationship, tequila and I. We don't get along.
Does it make your clothes fall off?
No.
Good. I don't want to see that.
It just makes brain no function.
I think that's why tequila makes your clothes fall off.
But it
I mean, just remember when
and not in a good way. Like normally when we drink, I get loopy and I get funny and
we're happy drunks.
we're happy people. But with tequila, it's more of it's not that I don't get happy, it's that I get really stupid with it.
All right, so I'm just looking at this. That is beautiful coloring. Look at that beautiful, like almost looks like the amber from Jurassic Park.
It really does.
Ooh. Okay, I'm getting some oak, but I'm getting deep vanilla caramel.
I get a deep dark cherry.
I'm getting the cherry. The cherry's definitely there.
Deep dark cherry. I do get a little bit of the vanilla. I do get the oak now, and I get a little bit of the smoke flavor on here. But
to you, my best friend, and to the first of the Holy Grail.
Ooh.
That is.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
There is a lot of things happening here right now.
There's a lot happening.
Okay, so hold on here, real quick, folks. We've got to put this one through the ringer here. We're going for progressive bourbon. What progressive bourbon is, you're discovering new notes on taste 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here's what I want to do. I need you to let's write down what we're getting on the tasting notes 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. So number one, like right up front, I got the cherry, and I got caramel, and I got oak finish. And then after a minute, I just got this really warm feeling going, just rising throughout my extremities, and it was like coming in from a cold winter's day and being wrapped in a blanket fresh out of the dryer. You know how, like, you just got done playing in the snow, you're sopping wet, and you just put that nice hot blanket on you, and how great that feels? That was taste 1. Taste 2, vanilla came through super strong, finished on the cherry and the oak, and it was beautiful.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go here. Number 1, there is a definite cherry forward dominant note in there, but then it bleeds into this beautiful oak note that is almost like a caramel. It's kind of like this very dark caramel note, but then what happens is it just kind of falls off, and it's just so smooth. Now, number 2 is we get all of that, but then when we get back to about right here, we're getting this smoke. But it's not like a heavy char smoke. It's very light, like kind of like just a beautiful note that is just it's getting into the caramel. It's kind of like a smoky caramel note.
Yeah. And see, and I got that as well.
What'd you get on 3?
On 3 is when I got the smoke at the end, the really strong smoke flavor. But it wasn't like overpowering.
No, it was beautiful.
Blending beautifully into it.
Here's what
But I get like a dark chocolate caramel mix right before the smoky flavor, but I'm getting that very forward cherry. Then it goes into an oak with a vanilla oak.
See, I'm not getting a lot of the vanilla. I'm getting more of the caramel.
I do taste vanilla, and I don't know if I'm supposed to because I haven't read the thing. I refuse to.
But here's what I'm getting, though, now.
But,
I'm getting number 3. Right around here, I'm getting a dark cocoa that's mixed in with the oak and the smoke. And it is a beautiful note. Now, here's the note that I'm trying to find that I smelled. I smelled plum, but I haven't discovered it yet.
There it is. Right there.
Yep, where'd you get it?
right at the front.
On the tip of your tongue?
Right at the tip of my tongue, right at the front of the drink.
It was kind of almost like a port wine note where it hits you with that spicy plum note.
Spicy plum that kind of then faded into a cherry, and then the oak and smoke came back in, and it was just, I lost the dark chocolate caramel on that fourth one. But, oh my word,
your palate has definitely evolved, and here's why. Because we basically tasted the same notes. The only thing is, on the fourth hit for me, I kept that dark cocoa cherry note that blended in with the wood. So let's see how we did.
Okay. So, I mean, the color is called burnt sienna, and you know what?
We definitely got some burnt sienna going on.
But that's a beautiful color. Our aroma should be vanilla, cinnamon dusted, grilled pineapple slices.
Okay, I didn't get the pineapple. I got a little bit of cinnamon.
And red plum fruit. So we both got that red plum fruit. And I got the vanilla. I didn't get the cinnamon pineapple.
I got a little bit of a cinnamon note. I was trying to place because I got a spice note in there. It was more of a Thanksgiving spice note.
Oh, I win.
What are the tasting notes? What do you mean?
Okay. It's vine and red fruit flavors.
Okay.
So cherry, plum.
Yep, we got that.
With rich vanilla bean and oak notes. And I got all of those.
Okay. But we discovered quite a few more in there.
Yeah. But the finish is long oak and red grape tannins.
See, I didn't get the tannins.
I didn't get the red grape tannins.
But I did get that rich, deep oak note.
I did get the rich, deep oak note.
But we both got that deep, dark chocolate cocoa note, though.
I don't know. I don't know where that came from, but it was beautiful.
All right.
Okay.
So I have a question here.
The journey that I just went on with this, and I said this to the folks, you remember from 5 minutes ago, that I hate when he brings out the specialty stuff because I haven't had a good one yet, and oh my word, I know this is
worthy of a holy grail.
Worthy of the holy grail. That is the best bourbon I have ever tasted.
Victory lap. I'm taking the victory lap.
You take the victory. That is a solid 5.
Okay.
There is nothing bad to say about that. Here's the thing. That had less burn than Crystal Skull vodka did for me.
That's saying something.
Like, it's slightly more than the Beluga, but it's so slightly more that it's barely not worth mentioning.
So I have a question for you, because I'm going to feel dirty if we do this. I don't think we can put it in the next drink. I feel like it's a sin.
Okay, here's my thought. I feel like we have to, for the sake of our viewers, and for the sake of consistency on the podcast.
Do you want the High Council?
However, it is being done strictly because of the rules that we set forth, and we are men of our word. And we said we would mix drinks even though they should not be mixed.
I don't know. I feel like the High Council might come after us.
I feel like no matter what we do, we're in trouble, because at the beginning of this podcast, we said even if it's a sin to mix it, we were going to mix it.
I feel like we actually got one here that we might actually be committing a cardinal sin against the High Council.
But we'd be committing a cardinal sin by breaking our word.
I think that's where the loophole comes in. All right. Here's the thing, Justin. I think we're going to have to split drink.
Oh, no. This is one that I want to... I basically want a sip of the mixed drink, because any more than that, and I feel like we have insulted the bottle.
I don't want to insult this one at all.
I feel like if we use more than half a shot in the mixed drink between the two of us, we've insulted the bottle.
So here's my question for you. Do we go with the signature double barrel podcast drink, or do we go old fashioned?
I think we just do a basic old fashioned, and it just a quick, simple little sip.
I want you to do this then, because if we're going to do an old fashioned here, I have to make the original traditional old fashioned from scratch.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's I feel like that's the only right way to do it.
Okay, so I go be bartender. And we've never done this before, but we're going to do it on this one. Try your vodka. Talk about your vodka for a minute.
I can't try it without you.
Okay.
That's not how this works. But
Do me a favor. Read the one doing this.
yeah, let me read from the book.
Yeah, let's read. Read from the good book. A good book. Not the good book. I can't say that because that's a sin.
From Elizabeth McCall, the master distiller. She says this has the little booklet has something on tradition in here. And it says, in 2004, the Woodford Reserve Distillery introduced a new era of innovation to the historic Kentucky bourbon industry with the first release of its master collection, 4 Grain. For this 2023...
4 Grain?
Yes, it is. For this 2023 release, master distiller Elizabeth McCall has drawn upon her prior creative releases and continued product experimentation for inspiration. In 2014, the Masters Collection released the first Pinot Noir finished Kentucky bourbon in history. Sonoma Couture Pinot Finish. This was followed in 2016 by the first ever American brandy cask finished bourbon. The Pinot Noir and brandy barrels used for these releases were obtained from famous Sonoma County wineries. These releases featured big, bold, red, and dry fruit flavors along with dark chocolate and baking spice notes. At the same time, many wineries began to age their red wines in Woodford Reserve barrels, create a new bourbon barrel-aged genre. These wines featured rich vanilla and caramel notes. Consumer response to all 3 has been overwhelmingly positive. This inspired Elizabeth to experiment with various combinations of the 3. Including finishing Woodford Reserve in Sonoma County wine barrels that had originally been used to mature Woodford Reserve. The result, the Sonoma Triple Finish, is a unique blend of Woodford Reserve Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey that has been finished in Sonoma County Pinot Noir, brandy, and former bourbon barrels used to age red wine. Sonoma Triple Finish is a rich, fruity, vanilla, and spice-forward expression of the Woodford Reserve Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. I know where we got our dark chocolate notes.
Where?
From the aging process.
Okay.
You missed it, but as they began to
Hessing butter.
as they were using the Sonoma County wineries barrels to age this, it brought in a dark chocolate and baking spices note to their bourbons.
Okay, that makes sense now. All right. So,
And we definitely got that. And this is the triple finish.
okay. All right. Should we teach the folks again how I make the original traditional old fashioned?
But so this is the finished in the wine and brandy barrels. It's the triple finish. So the barrel started as a bourbon barrel, finished wines and brandies, and then came back and finished another bourbon.
That's a lengthy process.
That's a lengthy process. Those
Did
barrels,
it give an H stamp on it at all?
not in the note, but let me search the bottle. It does not.
Okay.
However, this one, the triple finish definitely comes through. We get that oak flavor and that dark chocolate flavor that comes from being finished in the wine barrels. And so, I feel like we actually got all the notes we were supposed to get out of this, and we got them even in the right proportions. Now, he's making a traditional old-fashioned, as he calls it, and he uses lemon zest,
So it is a
lemon peel.
So the original one, folks, and I've talked about this on TikTok and stuff. So the original old fashioned was made with lemon peel, and the reason why it was made with lemon peel is the simple fact that back during the era that old fashions became about, it was prohibition, and oranges were expensive. Everyone was broke. Alcohol was illegal, and the alcohol that was being made was what was being made in Bubba's Tree Fort out in back 40. So it tastes like crap. You got to figure out a way to make it taste, well, good. One of the easiest ways that they found was to do this. Well, what it is it's a half ounce of simple syrup, which is basically sugar water, 2 heavy dashes of aromatic bitters. Crap, I shouldn't have added the simple syrup. That was wrong.
What do you mean that was wrong?
That was wrong. The cane sugar cane sugar replaces the aromatic bitters. That was my fault.
You mean the simple syrup?
The simple syrup, yep. Yes, you're right. Now, cherries, however, were pretty readily abundant.
Well, everybody had a cherry tea.
Yeah, everybody had cherry. So they used cherries to make the deal. And I'm going to go grab a towel real quick here. So that's why they didn't use oranges, because oranges were very expensive at the time. And so you had to use what was ever available. And that's why the original one was made with lemon. Now, the amount of bourbon that goes into one of these, hand me the double jig.
You're doing a full double jig?
We're splitting the drink. You want this done right?
I want it done right, but I wanted it small because, again, I feel like...
And I think the glass that I'm using is actually appropriate for this drink. If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Get a stir stick, please, sir.
Stizzle swick.
Still swicky sizzle. Right, and then that is your traditional old-fashioned minus the stupid simple syrup, which I'm an idiot and added. I apologize.
It's fine. Maraschino cherry?
Go ahead.
All right.
You take the first hit.
It smells good.
Good. I'm glad. Old fashioned's one of the ones that I don't like to hit the ease button on usually. You're gonna drink that all yourself.
Oh my, dude! You need, like, even with the little bit extra simple syrup you put in there,
we could get hammered.
that is dangerously good.
We could go to that whole bottle, mate. That is
That's dangerously good.
Wow. Okay.
Now,
Well, I didn't talk about my score though for taste and aroma.
yeah, but I'm certain
It's a 5.
it's a 5.
Drinkability.
Okay, honestly, if I'm sitting at an open bar and I see this and beluga, you want to know what I'm going to be doing for the next 2 hours?
Getting shit faced on both.
I'm going to be having a real hard. I'm going to walk up to the bar and be like, "Dude, give me 10."
10 shots.
No, just 10 minutes to think about which one I want, because that is probably the first bourbon that I've ever had that beats out every vodka I've had except for Beluga. Like, the flavors on that are just so amazing.
That proves that your palate, though, you wanted to answer a question, your palate has definitely evolved.
I think my palate has evolved or matured a little bit towards the bourbons, but oh my word, that
Beautiful.
honestly, folks, that is not a bourbon that, if you see it available and you have the funds for whatever it is that it costs,
We'll get into that in a minute.
I feel like you should be spending whatever it is that it costs and buying the bottle.
That is definitely those special occasion bourbon. I mean,
Oh,
that is like birthday, maybe Christmas, the birth of a child, the death of a family member, maybe a successful harvest in a hunt.
I was about to say, I feel like we should not have cracked that until we had a successful harvest this year on our hunt, but oh my, duh.
So you know what's cool, though? I'm going to mention the Vault real quick. So you know which one's coming on the hunt with us that we can't crack till the hunt? The Vault got a special barrel from Old Elk.
Ooh. I gotta get something this year. I gotta earn that barrel. I gotta earn it. Okay. Old Elk is, okay, my top bourbons that I've had, realistically I can name 3.
Old Elk,
Old Elk,
the Woodford.
the Woodford, and Dalmore.
But Dalmore's a Scotch. Do you know which one you really like, though? You did like that Kentucky Owl East Meets West that we reviewed last
Oh, that's true. We did. I really did like that one.
So here's where I'm really scared because I know you're going to knock it. We're getting into costs now.
We're getting into costs. Okay. So far, this has been. I've
What would you
nothing
pay
bad.
For it? What would you pay for it?
$150. Easy.
Standard MSRP is actually $149.99. Now, what it goes for the local liquor stores is around $180.
Okay, you know, I'd be one that's. That'd be one I'd be sitting there staring at it for like 20 minutes going, it's really good, but it's so expensive, but it's really good.
But here's where I want you to put the. Here's where I need you to rate this on.
If you bought it at the MSRP from.
I paid the $180.
Then you paid the $180.
Paid the $180. But here's the thing, though. Here's how I want you to rate this. And I know this might hurt a little bit. If you had never had it before, that's how I need you to rate this.
If I was just walking into the store and looking at
I want you to take it into consideration. Having tasted it, though,
Okay,
I
so.
feel like it's worth the money.
Okay, you want me to judge it as if I'd never tasted it or if I had tasted it?
Both.
Okay, if I had never tasted it and I walked into the liquor store and was looking at bourbons, and I saw that one at $180, I would go, wow, that's a lot. And I would probably pass it.
Having tasted it, though.
Having tasted it, like I said, I'm gonna see it and go,
How much trouble do you want to get in?
how much trouble do I want to get in today?
So what do you give it for cost for viewers?
You know,
Because you're our budget guy.
I am the budget guy. Here's the thing, folks. That is a bottle that I would buy like one a year.
That's probably all. If you're lucky enough to find one, that's all you're getting a year. Is one a year.
But it's one that I would spend even the 180. So my thoughts on this is like the one a year is going to be like buy one a year for special occasions.
And if you're lucky enough to even find it once a year, that's all you're going to get in.
Yeah, and I get that. But like if you see it and you have the ability to buy it, I would buy it. Like,
You giving it, man.
I have to knock a little bit for being so pricey. I get why it's so pricey. I understand it. I almost agree with it, but I still think it should be down near the 150 mark. So it's going to get a 4.5 because I do think, and I have this thought about all the bourbons across the board, they are overpriced for what they are.
We definitely are in a time where bourbon and whiskey in general, I also will agree with you, has become so inflated that it's almost ridiculous.
It's become like, oh, only the elitist of the elite drink to bourbon and whiskey, so it must be pricey as hell.
Well, but then, what is those? It's the commonest should only be drinking Jim Beam White Label, and then on a special occasion, maybe a little bit of Four Roses.
Yeah, and so I disagree with the elitist air.
It's definitely an elitist program.
The elitist air around the bourbons and the whiskeys. Guess what? You're not worth it. You do the same thing to me that a vodka does, and I can buy a great vodka.
As long as we're not saying about cognac and brandy, I think we're safe, right?
Well, cognac and brandy are different things, and even those I think are way overpriced for what they are.
They definitely are.
But I mean, in the end, they all get you to the same place in the same fashion, but you can buy a great vodka for $35.
The journey, though, on the bourbons and whiskeys, though.
Okay, but to me, the journey that they take you on, we should put high-end bottles around $100, maybe $150 for the really special select
if you
ones.
get some that are like 15 to 20 year, though, then I understand why you're paying the premium on that, because that thing's been chilling in a barrel for almost 20 years.
See, and I sort of get that, but at the same time, I don't think that just because it sat for 20 years, which, by the way, when it sits, I'm not sure how much attention it actually needs. Well, it sits for 20 years.
Not much.
So you're not paying anything other than overhead, which you're paying anyway, even for a 1 year barrel.
Well, 2 year, but yeah.
Whatever.
What are your overall thoughts on it, Justin?
So they're overpriced. Is my general thing is, and that goes for all bourbons, whiskeys, scotches, even Johnny Walker, which I really do love my Johnnies. They're overpriced as well. I think they all need to come back down into the realm of the vodkas, where a high-end good vodka is around $40-50. And I can, again, these special runs, okay, those can be $90-100.
Oh, it's definitely a limited once in a year release.
And I get that, but the fact that they are so expensive that someone living paycheck to paycheck is almost never going to have the extra $200 to buy that bottle is offensive to me.
So what are your overall thoughts?
My overall thoughts is it is a wonderful bourbon. I would recommend it to anyone who, if you drink bourbon, please buy this.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Sorry. So what are you giving it then?
Yeah, if you drink bourbon at all, buy it. 100%. It is a 5 out of 5. It is beautiful bourbon. It is absolutely worth drinking in any way, shape, or form.
I gave it a 5.
I'm not surprised.
I gave it a 5 on cost. I gave it a 5 overall.
Okay, this is one that I think if I had allowed you to give it a 6, it would have got 6s all the way down.
It would have gotten 10s.
Like, this is one that...
It definitely meets what I expected it to meet. Absolutely.
No. This one exceeds what
it really meets it, because I held this thing on a pedestal, very high pedestal.
You did, but I saw your face when we were drinking that not only the old fashioned, but the initial drinks, they were beyond what you expected. I know you weren't expecting them to be that good.
It was that good. It was awesome.
So I know for a fact this beat your expectations.
It's a phenomenal bottle. Worth every penny, worth grabbing.
Okay. And that's the only thing I disagree with is I think the bourbon industry and the whiskey industry is a little money hungry.
A little bit.
However,
I think that's the highest you've ever scored. I don't even think you scored Johnny Walker Gold that high.
No, I didn't score Johnny Walker Gold that high. I think there are a couple of bourbons that are, and scotches that we've tried that I have given 19s.
I've never seen you give 19.5 though to a brown.
I think there is one that I gave a 20 to.
And it was either the Dalmore or the Highland Park.
I was either the Dalmore or the Highland that I gave a 20 to. So I know there is at least one that beat this as far as score.
That's your first bourbon you've ever given that kind of accolades to.
Oh, and the only reason I don't give it the full 20 out of 20
is the cost.
Is the cost.
For that. I really do.
It's because I feel like they're charging too much as an industry, but
fight the power.
Pretty much. But I still said it. I say it again. If you see this bottle and you have the ability to buy this bottle, regardless of the price, it is worth spending the money on bottle.
All right.
So
I think we've given Woodford Masters Collection its dues. Let's get into this one that I bought with you in mind when I bought it. Blood, sweat, and tears. Can you follow it up with your own blood, sweat, and tears?
I gave some blood today.
You did give some blood today.
Out in the rain, I had a little mishap while we were cleaning up, and I cut myself on a target.
How about was the post?
Target posts. It's all part of the target. What are you doing?
That's for your mixed drink. I got an idea.
What? Come on, man. We can't just do pineapple and vodka.
I got something else too.
I want to do something special with this.
That's why I'm giving you those two.
All right. Now we're getting somewhere. I
want
to have some fun with this.
I had a plan.
This is a special bottle for me because it is off the wall.
It is definitely off the wall.
This is my initial taste of the Blood, Sweat, and Tears vodka.
Are you trying to get me drunk that fast?
No, I just didn't see two of the smaller ones, so I grabbed the big ones.
Look in the tray.
I'm not going to fill them. But I also like to use these because you can get your nose in there and actually smell it like you do your whiskeys. Here's the thing. You always say it's the same smell, but I'm
No, it's
smelling
not.
this.
Not on this. I want to, when we're done tasting, I want to see. I want to see if you got it. Because I got something on this. This is not a flavored vodka. However, though, I did get it. And I'm not saying what it is yet.
I appreciate that. So,
Take your hit. I want to see if you tasted it. Cheers.
there's something there. Hold on. I can't quite put my finger on it. There's something there. What are you?
Let me know if you need help.
It's almost like one of the flavors I get off of the gins.
It's not juniper. You're close. It's cucumber.
Is that what I'm tasting here?
Cucumber.
I knew something was there. I still couldn't put my finger on it, but
Here's the thing, though. I thought the same thing. I thought juniper at first, and then I tried it again. It tastes like a cold cucumber mix, almost like cucumber water.
I'd agree with that.
But
I think part of the
this isn't flavored.
I think part of the reason I don't get that is because I avoid cucumber water. I avoid cucumbers. I
really don't care for them either, but I
really
got that distinct note.
I really don't care for cucumbers.
I don't either, but I got that distinct note out of it.
I agree. But it's not bad.
No, it's good, actually. But here's the thing, though.
Like,
It breaks the rules. It breaks your rules in a good way. You always say a vodka should be odorless and tasteless. This one is neither the or. There. Or.
no, you smell off the
Yeah.
the cork, and it's nothing.
There's really no burn, though, to it.
And then there's thrown in a bottle, you get that hint of that cucumber water, and then as soon as you pour it, it's there.
Yep.
And you're not, if you're like me, you're not sure what it is, but something's there.
And it's there in a good way, but it does break
is-
the rules.
It is there in a good way. It does a good job being a decently tasting vodka.
It's a mold breaker for sure.
It is a mold breaker. For me, though, it is going to get a 4.5 because I don't think it should have that flavor. I think it should go back to, what a vodka to me is. But it's not bad.
No, it's pretty good. I give it a 4.5 too because it didn't meet your criteria. Even though it broke the mold in a good way, it still broke all the rules.
I wouldn't say all the rules, just some of the rules.
It broke the most important rules, is what you've told me.
It-
It's
it-
not odorless and it's not tasteless.
It has taste and it has odor, but it's a very unique flavor.
It is, but it's a good, unique flavor, and I like it.
Oh yeah, and
Now,
burn.
Do you want me to walk you through the drink?
All right, yeah. What am I making here?
All right, so you're doing 1.5 ounces of vodka. Your vodka's up there, sir.
No, well, I was looking for the double jigger, but you used it, and now I'm looking for.
Just use your shot glass. Here you go, 1.5 ounces on the vodka.
I would like to use jiggers.
That's fine. You can jig all you want.
I just couldn't find one.
You can jig it all you want. Jig it.
All right, let's see if you can do a Russian jig.
That's 2 ounces.
Uh huh. I pretend to know what I'm doing here.
I was gonna say you're trained, and I'll give you credit.
You distracted me with that.
You earned your bartender card for like 5 minutes. Good job.
You distracted me with that jig. I started thinking about trying to make you do the Russian jigger. You drop it and you
What
kick
my
out.
leg is right now from the 4th of July, man. I ain't Russian jigging. I ain't doing an Irish or a Scottish dance of any kind. All right.
You have a bad leg. I have a bad knee. It's not happening. What am I
Okay.
doing next?
Sweet melon schnapps, 1/2 ounce.
All right, what are we calling this, by the way?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Two dumb guys drink. Figure out a name later.
So is this one that you just made up, or is this one
so
that
I
you pulled
out-
some?
I pulled out my rear end a little bit here. If it tastes the way I think it tastes, I'm going to name it the Green Lantern.
All right. Next. How much?
Out to there.
Basically, fill up the rest of the drink.
No, almost. I'll tell you when. Good. Good. Let's taste it first, then we'll name it. How does that sound?
Okay. To me, that's too pale of a green for the Green Lantern.
I know what I'm saying. Let's
Before we added the pineapple juice,
grab some stir sticks real quick.
it was kind of the right color. Now that we've added pineapple juice, a little pale. I'm trying to think of what else is that pale.
Well, let's find out what it tastes like.
What in the weird?
What in the weird? We went mad bartender, brother.
We did. But, okay, this one is a journey in and of itself. Because right up front, it's, all right, there's pineapple.
Then you get into melon and cucumber.
Here's melon, and there's cucumber, and then there's
Vodka burn.
vodka
You're
burn.
done.
It's just, what in the world?
It's a shot of journey.
And it's not a bad journey, it's just, I don't even know, like,
Summer roller coaster, maybe? I don't know.
I don't even know that this is a summer drink.
It's very summery.
On ice, maybe.
That's the only thing I should have iced it and shook it.
I think shaken on ice
Shake it.
would have been better.
Yep.
However, I don't know what to call that drink.
Help us name it. Drop us a comment.
Come up with some ideas, guys.
What are you going to bid on drinkability?
On drinkability, this one is actually going to score about a 3.5. It is not going to be my first choice at an open bar. It's probably not even going to be my second choice at an open bar. In fact, it's probably going to be fourth or fifth choice.
Here's the thing. I give it a 4. The reason why I give it a 4 is because I actually like some of the more... I like the notes that it brings. It's very fresh. It's very aromatic. And I love that cucumber water taste that brings in because I feel like... And that's why I wanted to test it with these two ingredients because I wanted to see just how versatile this vodka could really be from a bartender's perspective. And from that perspective, it could probably actually make some very hard-hitting, heavy, good-tasting drinks.
Oh, no.
My,
I agree with you. As far as its mixability,
it's beautiful.
I think it has great potential.
And that's where I was more focused on than the drinking straight. I was more, I personally focused more on the fact that this is going to be a vodka that is going to elevate mixed drinks in a different way. It's not going to be a vodka that I'm looking at it as the nature of the vodka itself. If
See,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and from your perspective, if I were looking at it that way, I would agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to look at it from
The purist standpoint, which is fine.
my perspective, which is if I can't enjoy it purely neat, then it makes it hard for me to even consider it mixed.
Okay. Cost.
And so this one,
I'm sorry.
just for me, as far as drinkability, it's not going to be last choice,
It's not first.
but it's not going to be first. Like this in no way lands anywhere near my bottom 5
See, that's what I was
vodkas.
wondering. Where does it land in your top 10? Does it even hit the top 10
You know-
slots?
It'd probably end up at number 9.
Okay, so I was thinking you would put it around number 10 or number 9.
It's
So
going to
I'm
be
about
around
right.
number 9 for in my top 10 slot. But it's not going to break the top 5, but it's not going to come even anywhere near the bottom 3.
Well, to get to that bottom 3, you've got to do something that is
Okay.
a crime in and of itself. So do you want to know what I paid for?
If you come anywhere near that Platinum 10X,
You want it? You should deserve.
you need to close your doors as a distillery and rethink your life.
No, Sazerac does not need to close their doors and rethink their life because half of all the bourbon I have in here comes from Sazerac.
Okay, Sazerac needs to stop making vodka.
I would agree with that 110%. Sazerac needs to stop making vodka.
Apparently you do good bourbon, but for vodka, I can't recommend it for human consumption. Please stop.
Latins is actually a Sazerac.
Is it really? Okay, but I'm just saying.
They need to quit making vodka.
You're okay. You're good at bourbon. Stick with it. Stop making vodka.
You wanna know what I paid
Please
for
leave that to others. Yes, what did you pay for it?
36.
36? That depresses me
I know.
ever so slightly.
I knew it would.
Because the Beluga is what, 35?
I know
34.99?
it's 40.
40? Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. If that was more expensive than the Beluga, I was going to have to...
The typical Beluga is 35, but the one that I bought you, which is the 50th yacht racing one,
So good.
that one's about 40 to 45.
So good.
But typical Beluga is anywhere between 30 to 35, I think.
And that... Okay, now I'm depressed again because I don't think you're worth being above my Beluga. You should... Realistically, if this were a $25 bottle of vodka, I'd say it's perfect. It is not.
Correct.
So I'm going to end up knocking it down to a 4.
Okay. See, I gave it a 3, and here's why I gave it a 3.
I'm surprised you gave it a 3 because this is one vodka that you have actually reacted way better to than most of the other vodkas I've had you try.
It's just the quality of vodka that you've had me try now, and where my palate's gone to. Because here's the, you're right.
The evolution of the palates. We're at episode like 16, 17 now.
Something like that. Our
And
palates have evolved.
our palates have evolved, and this is a wonderful example of that.
It
I love
really
it.
is.
I love this
But
episode.
here's the thing, though. You look at like Crystal Head, and yes, I think it's better than Crystal Head. At the same time, though, Crystal Head's $50. But I'm comparing it to even like a Grey Goose. You can pick up a bottle of Grey Goose for $30. I would put Grey Goose ahead of this.
As would I.
And that's why, like, Vodka and what is it, Aurora Borealis even.
Those are
Those are
we have
both
such beautiful
they're
vodkas.
sub-$30 bottles of vodka, and I would put them ahead of this one. And that's why I'm only giving it a 3, is because it's... Here's the thing, though. The flavors are good. It's a very unique bottle. However, though, I do feel like it needs to come down to that 30 to 35, that $30 range. Right? It was 36. It needs to come down to that $29 to $30 range, and then it would probably get a 5 from me.
See, and I think it needs to be around 25. 30 max. But it is a unique flavor.
It really is.
And to me, that's where it gains back some points, because unique flavored vodkas are out there and they are a big thing.
But the trick is, are they naturally flavored or are they artificially flavored?
And this one's naturally flavored.
And that's why.
And that's why for me it claws back that, you know what, it's not so bad that I would drop it to the 3, because it's
a solid
it's
middle of
overpriced.
the road pack. Now, I think this would be a cool one to bring to a party. I really do. I think you'd stand out. I think it'd be a good gift too.
Oh, yeah,
For
you
like
would-
your boss or something, or a colleague.
If you
I
have a
think
vodka lover in your life,
that would be a good gift.
this would be a great gift, because again, beautiful bottle.
And it tastes good.
It tastes good. It does mix well, and it is going to bring unique flavors to the mixes. And so, yeah, I do think it is a great bottle, and I think, you know what, people, you should try it. I think you're going to enjoy it.
I do too.
Because there was no burn. If you drink vodkas, there is no burn on this. It's much like the high-end vodkas that I like, in that respect. But you get that weird flavor. But it's the cucumber water flavor without being overly cucumber,
Right.
to the point where it's like, I don't like it.
It's very mild. It's very undertone.
It's very
It's a
undertone.
solid
And so,
4. It's a solid B vodka for me.
see, and you know, for me, overall, I'm going to give it a 4 as well, because it's not great, it's not horrible, it's kind of
It's a good solid vodka.
right in the middle, but at the same time, it tastes better than some of the others that we've had. And so, yeah, I am going to give it a better score than I would some of the others.
Correct.
Do I need to help you math?
I'm mathing here, and I'm a little tipped. So hang on here. I think I actually got a higher score than you.
I think I ended up giving it a 16.
And what did I? Hang on.
Yeah, because I have 4.5, 3.5,
Makes
8,
8.
plus another 8. That's 16.
And then I gave it 4.5 or. So I actually gave it a.
You gave it a 15.5. I gave it a better score than you did.
Yeah. I mean, so I gave it a 15.5. That's a pretty solid score for vodka for me, but it gets still middle of the road for me.
It's still very. It's average.
Cost is what killed it for me. Realistically, cost is where it got me.
Yeah, and I would agree with you there. It's not quite worth what it's at, but I don't think it's as bad as you gave it.
Overall,
But
thoughts though on it, it's a solid vodka. I think it's good vodka. I think it's worth a shot. I think it's worth
Here's the thing. If you like vodkas, I mean, this is one that I'm definitely going to drink it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not one that I'm going to
vodka.
completely pass up, but it is not one that I'm going to, given my choices, if I'm out trying to celebrate or have a good time, it's not my first choice.
No, I would understand that.
But if I'm just chilling here at the tavern and, you know what, I just want to drink something decent to get a little bit buzzed, by all means,
It's definitely a good one, yeah.
this is going to be one of the, again, I mean, you're probably going to choose my number 6 to number 10 vodkas. And it's in the running.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, not bad, not great, not horrible. It's a great bottle. I would definitely recommend. It's worth trying at least once.
Well, I think we've actually had a really awesome show here. Don't forget, please enter in for the giveaway.
Yes.
We want to keep doing this. This is how we keep doing it. Please comment, like, subscribe.
Like, subscribe, comment. Tell us your favorite alcohol,
And the drink that goes with it.
regardless of what it is. I know we don't do a lot of rums, tequilas, gins,
We do.
wines.
We just don't do as much.
No, compared to, let's be fair,
Our
Chris.
wheelhouse.
We do a lot of bourbons. We do a lot of vodkas.
We do.
We do a lot of whiskeys and scotches. We don't do a lot of the other ones.
No.
But here's the thing. If you tell us you want us to review one,
We'll do it.
regardless of what it is, if we see regardless of what it is, unless it's super expensive,
I was going to say, dude, the ching comes.
if it's super pricey, you have to send us a bottle.
Or a handshake of it, at least.
Yeah. Otherwise, if it's within reason, we will go out, we'll go buy it, we'll try it, we'll let you know.
Anyway.
But we are not going to go out and buy that $5,000 bottle of wine you've been eyeballing for your wedding. No.
All right, folks, from us here at the Tombstone Tavern and Double Barrel Podcast, have a great night.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and get a ride home. Lyft, Uber, taxi, bus, your friend's couch. Please use them. Do not get behind the wheel. We don't want to hear about that.
Have a great night, folks. We'll see you back here next time.
Love you, folks. See you next time.